What up, people? It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast, and I'm coming to you guys live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Christy Don One. Welcome to another episode of Based on a True Story. As always, rate, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this channel lit in the podcast and YouTube channel algorithm. You heard me? What up, people? How y'all living? I'm living swell. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Yeah, y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me. Y'all can hear me clearly. Okay, got another story time for you guys. Story time. Now, we're still on the tip of the pursuit of me getting some. Now, if you follow your boy and if you checked out my live stream from last night, I told you guys I was a late bloomer when it came to the opportunity of sliding some draws to the side, okay? Letting some panties drop, okay? I was real late on my motion game, if you dig what I'm saying. You know, my swagger wasn't there, my lingo wasn't there, it just all the style, everything, the suave, everything. It just wasn't there. I wasn't at that apex yet. I was, like I said, I was a late bloomer. So I'm gonna tell you the time I thought I was getting some, and I struck out on a lot of opportunities, of female opportunities. Some of them, there were missed opportunities. If you checked out yesterday's live stream, you got one of my missed opportunities. I was thinking with the wrong head on that one. I was thinking it with my big head, my pride, instead of my little head, okay? So, peep this, all right? By the way, if anyone in the building, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. That helps me out a lot. I appreciate that. So, um, so I'm on, the drought continues. The drought season continues. And this was a little bit after me going to the prom. Okay. So I was a senior, took a girl to the prom. I did it on the strength of, hey, she wanted an opportunity to have an experience to go to the prom because no one else was giving her that opportunity, and two, helping a good friend out. Now, in the beginning of it, I wasn't even thinking about smashing her. Okay, even I had the opportunity to smash her. I didn't smash her. Okay, so drought continues. You know how you be in a drought, you start reminiscing on the opportunities that in the beginning, they were not, you didn't look at them as missed opportunities. You didn't look at them as screw ups. You just played it off. But when you in a drought, you start reminiscing on the missed opportunities. You could have gotten some tail. Okay, definitely. I kept reminiscing about the prom situation with my friend's sister, even though she even gave me an out to even smash her. She gave me the opportunity to smash her, and my pride got in between that, because if you checked out yesterday's live stream, I told you guys I got kind of embarrassed because she was running around high school telling everybody that I'm taking her to the prom. Hindsight being 2020, you got being realistic. Everybody would have known I was going to take her to the prom anyway, because everyone would have seen me take her to the prom. Okay, but you F up. You F up a lot. So I'm reminiscing that, going like, damn, that was a missed opportunity. And I missed that, and reminiscing on other strikeout opportunities. All right. So I'm working. Ain't nothing much I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it but just live and let go. So basically, I'm in my work game. I figured if I clear my mind or keep my mind busy on other things, then that will, I'm not going to forget about it, but I'm not going to be putting too much thought in me missing and striking out on smashing females. So one of the things that kept me busy was going to work. And going to work was cool. Making your own money, saving your own money, buying your own things, going to work, you start developing positive characteristics like being fiscal responsible or just responsible in period. You start to become more mature, and you leaning towards being an adult more so than being a young teenager or a teenager. You're not thinking childish or immature. You're starting to grow. You're starting to develop growth during this process. Okay, so that kind of distracted me. And then I'm still on the pursuit of taking a year off and going to school a year later. What's up, potatoes? What's up, Gary? How you doing? Potatoes. Okay, so you got all that going. Hey, I appreciate the likes, guys. I really do appreciate the likes. So you got all those things going on, and when you're starting to think about your future, when you start, you know, thinking about how far along you want to be in this work ladder game, you start getting distractions. The more distractions you get, the little time you have thinking about trying to smash anybody. So I'm still focused. I know after this year, I'm going to be going to college. I was preparing my journey for college, getting all my stuff in order, my paperwork, going to college. I was going to go to TSU. Okay. And my major was teaching. Now, the reason why I chose teaching, and if you've been following my live streams, when I was a little kid, I always thought I was going to be an astronaut. But, being realistic, and when you grow a little bit, when you grow a little older than when you was a kid, you're still a kid, but you grow a little older, you start, getting information, processing information, well, maybe that's not the dream that I want to pursue. But I definitely like teaching. And the reason why I like teaching, I like, I like to be a role model. I looked at teaching as being a role model and maybe passing knowledge or passing your past mistakes, telling your past mistakes to other people that are younger than you so they don't fall on the pitfalls of making those same mistakes. Plus, I was pretty knowledgeable, as far as education wise. So I knew my major was going to be teaching. I like being, I just those things just was very precious to me. Okay, so that I knew I was going to become a teacher. All right, so I got that processing. I'm still working, and life is good. Okay, the more and more I start being involved with my future and involved in my work, the less time I had to even think, or, even thinking about trying to smash somebody. So I'm minding my own business. I'm working, and one of my friends that were she graduated the same year I graduated. Okay, and she's working at McDonald's. And occasionally, I would see her, walking to work. Sometimes I would, pick her up and take her to work. Little by little, we started to develop, a, trusting, and we knew each other from school, but we really didn't spend a lot of time communicating with each other. And little by little, I started, feeling her. She started feeling me, not in no romantic way, but someone that you can bounce ideas off of, someone that you can really consider, a trustworthy friend. So we up here talking, little by little, got a phone number. And, every now and then I would call her, she would call me, and we'll just talk about life stuff. It wasn't nothing sexual. It wasn't nothing romantic. It wasn't nothing about relationships, none of that stuff. So we'll just bounce different ideas about what she's interested in, what I'm interested in, what she's trying to pursue, what I'm trying to pursue. We're still young. We're still trying to figure this game of life out. And we figured if we're together, we can figure it out a little bit better. You dig what I'm saying? So one night, we're just talking. We're just shooting the breeze. We're just talking about general stuff. We're talking about movies and music and things of that nature. And all of a sudden, you know, intimacy got involved, creeped in the conversation. Now, I know people are gonna, when they listen to this, they're gonna go, well, you planted it, you planted the seeds of this intimacy talk. No, I didn't. I didn't plant any seeds of intimacy. Um, she was just asking me questions. And she was asking me, different questions like, when she was more about the birds and the bees. And I'm going like, wait a minute, you never had this conversation with your parents? And she said, well, my parents they was religious, and sometimes when they was telling me about the birds and the bees, I don't know why I want to say bees, okay? When they were telling me the birds and the bees, they would, tell it in a Bible type, a Jesus type situation, okay? Um, so I said, well, shoot. So we started talking about, you know, a man and a woman, a man's needs, a woman's needs. She was talking about relationships. We talked about, you know, uh, when that person is the right one, and things of that nature. And I said to myself, okay, so we're talking nothing too drastic. You dig what I'm saying? But I always told her, like, I feel like if these questions, you should, ask your mother about them or ask your father about them, because you're curious and you want to know about these questions. And I just don't, I feel like, to me, you asking me and we're the same age, I don't know. I'm not completely knowledgeable about a lot of things that you're asking me. So then she started, talking to me. Well, I've seen you go to clubs and parties. Hanging out with different females and stuff like that. And she had the image of me being this big time player. Like, I'm always around women, I'm always around females, and she thought that I was a player, like someone that constantly smashed females. And I said, to be 100% honest with you, I'm not that guy. So I started telling her my story, like, hey, I'm not that guy. Everything that looks good on the outside, from an outside perspective, that things, when you start talking to somebody, you start understanding the real them. Okay. So I told her my struggles, and I even told her about the struggles I'm having now. And she said, and the urges that I have now. And curious enough, she had urges. Okay. So she says, how do you remedy those urges? Well, we started talking about, you know, taking care of your business by yourself. Now, I'm not gonna, y'all gonna have to read in between the lines about that, okay? So, and I told her what a man does to pleasure himself, and she said she does the same thing on a woman's front. Okay, cool. Okay. But she says that's just not enough. Okay. And I agree with her. I agree with her. That's really not enough. So then I started telling her about, maybe filling your time, having stuff going on in your life, they may to be like distractions, to focus on other things besides, you know, uh, besides being intimate. And she agreed, just and she said that's what she's been doing. She said she's in school, she's at work, she's just focusing on other things. But then sometimes it comes out. Sometimes she start to think about being intimate. Okay. And she said, well, what do you do when that phase happened? And I told her, when that happens on my end, um, I think about it, but then I try to focus myself on other things. And she said, look, she does too, but then sometimes, the intimacy thing creeps back up again. Okay, so then we started talking about being intimate, what's romantic, what's a one night stand, and all this stuff. So we're here talking, we're on the phone talking about all this stuff, and she just said she just haven't found the right one. So I told her, I said, you're going to find the right one. Just make sure that right one is the right one. Make sure that person, if you're giving yourself away to this person, make sure that person it loves you for you, and not to just a wham bam thank you ma'am type of moment. Okay, so and I say you're young, you should be really thinking about, intimacy and not getting pregnant, because, you got a whole future that you're trying to discover. Now, don't get it twisted, don't get it confused. If you do get knocked up or pregnant, that shouldn't that does not mean life ends for you. Okay, you're just going to have to work a little harder to get the things that you're looking for, but it's a lot easier when you're taking care of yourself. You dig what I'm saying? So she dug what I was digging. You dig what? Okay, so then we started talking about then we started the conversation, to me, started shifting and focusing more on her and me. Okay, and she started thinking about friends with benefits, and she started talking about and I think I included some discussions on this as well, about friends with benefits, and maybe we could have a situation where it's friends with benefits. Okay, where it's beneficial to you, it's beneficial to me. We're not going to be in no serious relationship. It's just we got a pact set up to where, hey, I take care of your needs, you take care of my needs, okay? And that's it. So we started negotiating, and I want to say it was negotiating. We started negotiating a treaty that me and you, we're gonna have uh, a bit friends with benefits type of relationship, but it's not gonna be actual. We're not gonna be the traditional boyfriend girlfriend. So that's how we started having this agreement written up. Okay. I want to make sure I didn't. Hey, Cameron Gaming, what's up? Hope you're still in the building. Appreciate all y'all in the building. Okay. So, how many more minutes I got? All right. Okay, we got a couple of minutes. So we started working out this tree. Now it gets interesting. Okay, now we done passed the phase. Okay, we both agree that this is going to be a relationship with friends with benefits. Okay, we both agreed on that, and then now we're trying to agree on when we're going to do this, where we're going to do this at. Okay, so we definitely couldn't do it at her mama's house, because there's always somebody at her house. If it's not her mother, it's gonna be her father. And her mother and her father, they was heavily religious. They're not gonna be down for the cause for that. You dig? So then we started talking about my place, going to my parents' house. Okay, which again, it's like a train station at my house. There's always somebody at my house. I have never seen a day where there's no one in the house. Okay, so it is what it is. So we found out that, hey, this was not going to work. Okay, then we started talking about motels. Okay, we'll talk about different motels we can go to. All right, now here's where we started saying to ourselves, here's where it kind of went left, because she was talking about, yeah, I'm not sure about getting no motel. It just sounds kind of cheap, sounds kind of dirty, even though what we're doing technically could be in the cheap and dirty category. Okay, so she was saying, like, I'm not sure about no motel, and cheap, kind of dirty, and she was scared of someone seeing us going into a hotel, because you can't explain that away. It's not like you working for that hotel. if someone, that knows your parents or knows my parents or knows you or knows me, and they see us walking into a hotel building or into a hotel room, then hey, that's, everyone knows the signal for that. It's a wham bam thank you ma'am type of moment. All right. So initially we was no on a hotel. So we're no with going to our parents' house. We're no on going on a hotel. More so on it was no on the point of she just didn't want nobody. She just didn't want anybody into our business. Okay. I'm not gonna say hotel was she was totally against it, but it was so far on the list. It was on the list, but so far down on the list. Okay. So then we started talking about maybe in the car. Okay. Then we started talking about where in the car. Okay. And she said, well, she was freaking out. Well, if I don't want to do it in a motel, then why would I do it in a car? I'd rather just do it in a motel. So it was a toss up between we either get a motel or a car. So I knew of a spot. And I remember this spot when we used to walk to high school. And I told her about this spot. I said, man, this spot, there's no one there, no one's around. We'll have plenty of alone time. But I told her, here's the kicker. It's outside. She's saying, she started already. I could see no in her eyes. She didn't even have to say no. Okay. I already knew that this definitely going to be a no. So I was explaining to her. I said, hey, look, you know of this spot. We done seen this spot plenty of times when we used to walk to school. Okay. So that got her reminiscing. And she said, well, what you talking about? I said, now, where I live at, there's like this railroad track. And this railroad track is like the middle point of where I live. And when you cross the railroad tracks, it's the middle point to school. And this railroad track is connected to a bridge. It's a highway bridge, and the train goes underneath the railroad track. No, since I've been at this school for like 4 years, never heard or seen a train go through these railroad tracks. Okay. So we don't have to worry about no train. I never seen anybody up underneath that bridge. Okay. No signs of anybody going underneath that bridge or anything. Only time I see this place active is above the bridge when it's traffic. But other than that, perfect place. To me, I thought it was a perfect place. I'm explaining this to her. Hey, man, this is a perfect place. Now, she was no all the way with this. Because one, she didn't want to do nothing outside because she was scared somebody was going to catch her. And she just know it was more so that she was scared. Okay? Because this would be literally her first time being intimate with a guy. So she's already got that nervous factor about her. Okay? So I had to do a lot of talking and a lot of convincing. And I did a month's worth of talking. And she went on and agreed. Now, she agreed to either the bridge or getting a motel. Now, getting a motel, and this is me being young and not fully experienced, but the hotels I knew that we could get a room, they wanted a credit card. Okay? All I had was cash. Had plenty of cash, no credit card, no debit card. At that time, I wasn't completely knowledgeable on credit cards and debit cards. All I knew was I get paid, I got money in my pockets. That was the extent of my financial education. Okay? So all I had was cash. And the the motels that's in the surrounding area, you either had to have a credit card or a debit card. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but as I grew older, I knew I my mind expanded, my learning expanding. Found out that there's plenty of motels that accepts cash, and hell, they got motels for one night stands. Okay, but at that particular time, at that particular moment, I did not know of these things. Okay, so we didn't have a credit card. She didn't have a credit card. I didn't have a credit card or a debit card. So we just said, you know what? Let's try the bridge portion. Okay. So let me see how much more time I got, because this is a very detailed story, and I only got, oh my god, man, that's pitiful. Okay, so basically, I'm trying to do it real fast, real quick. Okay, so I parked close to the bridge. Both of us walked in. It was like at night. Nobody could see us. Okay, so we both walk up underneath the bridge, and as we approached the bridge, your boy started having insecurity issues. I had plenty, because I gotten at the batter's box, but I have never went past the batter's box. I never went on first base. I never did a home run. I didn't make no double, no single. I always made it to the batter's box, okay, at this particular part of my life. So I'm trying to say to myself, Chris, okay, obviously we hit something, okay, it's a home run, a single, a double, whatever. What do we do now? Because we never been put in this type of position, okay? But if I would have told her that, like, look, hey, not only you a virgin, but I'm a virgin too, I think that would have ruined the vibes, and she probably would have said no. So I had to pretend. I had to pretend that I knew what I was doing. So as we walking up underneath the bridge, I'm trying to, think of things that, okay, what do people do when they start getting intimate? Okay, so I'm thinking about all the movies I saw, all the TV shows I saw, and I said, normally, people start off kissing one another, okay? But there's a problem. I don't know how to kiss, man. I do not know how to kiss. I've seen people kiss, but I have never done kissing before, okay? So we get up underneath the bridge. I started grabbing on her. She started grabbing on me. And we locked eyes, and then I got close to her, and then I started pecking her on the lips, because I ain't never kissed no girl before. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never been put in no position like this. So I'm faking the funk, okay? I'm up there pecking on her lips, and then she started pressing on my lips. Now it's not becoming pecking no more. We're all in one motion, and we're kissing, okay? So we're up here kissing, right? So I'm saying to myself, should I have my eyes closed or open? And once again, I think about, the movies I've seen. And I've definitely seen a couple of movies where the actor and actress would close their eyes. So I'm up here closing my eyes. She got her eyes closed. I'm kissing her. She's kissing me. On a scale of how good the kiss could have been better if I knew what the hell I was doing, okay? So we up here kissing, and then next thing I know, I feel something trying to go in my throat, and it feels kind of bad but good. You dig what I'm saying? I'm going like, what's that going in my throat? Okay? I want to open my eyes so bad to figure out what's going in my throat. Come to find, I don't want no penis in my throat, okay? So, Paul. So, I know I was still kissing her. I wasn't kissing any other part of her body at that particular time. So, I started feeling it with my tongue. And I'm going like, wait a minute, this feels like my tongue. like, I put two and two together. She pushed her tongue in my throat. That's the first time a woman or a girl, anybody, put their tongue down my throat. Okay, so I was like, damn, it's a good bad type of feeling. Okay, you have to get used to it. Okay, so I'm up here kissing her, she's kissing me. I'm thinking to myself, man, okay, so Chris, what do you do after that? Again, going through the research of movies and television. And you know what? I couldn't think of anything. What else they do in movies and television? Because normally when the actor and the actress are kissing, the scene changes to something else. Okay? This is real life. I'm going like, wait a minute. This is not going to change until the next day. The sun's up and I'm waking up. Okay? So I know there's something else I have to do. Okay? I know there's something else I have to do. Okay? And unfortunately, that's it. I got to leave you in suspense with this. This is definitely a part one. I do apologize to people out there. You spend 30 minutes and we get to the good part, and now I got to end it right here. I will definitely try to do another live later on this morning to do a part two. Okay? But guys, I really do appreciate you checking out this live stream. As always, rate, comment, subscribe. Share this with a friend, family, as well as a follower. Let's get this channel lit in the YouTube algorithm. I'm up out of here. I'll talk to you guys later, Gators. I'm gone. Deuces.